Hi, I'm Patty Brooks, and today I would like us to explore stereotyping and its effects on Indigenous peoples. I will be using the art form entitled The Four Seasons by Wendy Redstar, a Native American contemporary multimedia artist, to help us gain a greater understanding of this concept. So, what is stereotyping? A label? A tag? A judgment based on your own or other people's opinions or experiences. Stereotypes are overgeneralized, preconceived images or ideas of a person based on their gender, ethnicity, culture, or simply the way they look. Pickering proposes that stereotypes assign a meaning to a particular attribute that either demeans or confines the targeted person. The stereotype does not allow the person to progress outside of the meaning. Still today, we see Indigenous peoples portrayed as they were historically, such as the noble savage, the Indian princess, and not the diverse cultures that exist. These stereotypical images relegate them to a moment in the past, causing a deficit mindset and reducing their progression potential. According to Harrison and Selwood, this type of restrictive thinking in the classroom can lead to teachers viewing gifted Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students as average and therefore not allowing them to reach their full potential. Stereotypes surrounding the ways Indigenous people should look or behave have a long history and is prevalent today. Triggers suggest as non-Indigenous people often have little or no contact with Indigenous people, we rely heavily on the portrayals by the media and arts to form our ideas about them. These portrayals, though, are often made by individuals of dominant and privileged groups who themselves are often unfamiliar with the diversity of Indigenous communities. So tell me, what images do you imagine when you think of Indigenous Australians, Native American Indians, or Maori people? What has influenced your beliefs? Wendy Redstar uses irony and humour in her art to challenge stereotypes and misrepresentations of Indigenous lives. Redstar's artwork, titled The Four Seasons, is a parody of the work by prominent non-Indigenous photographer Edward S. Curtis. In the early 1900s, Curtis was commissioned to create a series of works on Indigenous tribes of North America. Curtis was praised for his wealth of knowledge on diverse tribes. This, in fact, was untrue, as he quite often misrepresented history by staging his photographs with a selected background, pose, and appearance. He chose to represent Indigenous people how he and other non-Indigenous stereotyped Native American Indians, effectively misrepresenting Indigenous people as static, historical images. Through her artwork, Wendy Redstar looks at these false accounts and encourages interest in Indigenous issues through re-education about stereotypes and assumptions. Through her artwork, Wendy Redstar looks at these false accounts and encourages interest in Indigenous issues through re-education about stereotypes and assumptions. The irony of the artwork is that Redstar purposely positions herself in a stereotypical setting, like the stage setting Curtis used, creating an image the majority or dominant society would connect with. On closer inspection, we can see that Redstar has used AstroTurf, blow-up and cardboard animals, cellophane for water, all misrepresentations of the real thing, likening them to the historical and cultural misrepresentations of American Indians. Through this art, Redstar looks to challenge the Native American Indian stereotypes, provoking conversation and encouraging people to question their current perceptions. Future educators, we need to appreciate that the images and texts we expose our students to may in fact be all they use to develop their own ideas and views of Indigenous peoples. By using only traditional texts and images, we risk repeating history. Outdated, stereotypical and often misrepresentations can develop a notion of a culture forgotten in time. Through modern transformative representations, we can, however, create better informed students who learn to embrace the rich diversity of Indigenous peoples.